Hello, Year 9. My name is Clare Rees, and I'm the author of Jelly. Jelly is it's a book about a group of people who are trapped on top of a giant jellyfish, and they're trying to escape from that really weird situation. The book was inspired by two events. It was inspired partly by the fact that I was reading a Viking saga, and the Viking saga, they're mad actually, by the way, you should read them, but the Viking saga had a sea monster in it, a kraken, a giant sea monster that was so big that people could live on top of it, and I really liked that idea. But also that week, you know, when you start watching YouTube videos and then you just can't stop, and you end up in this really, you know, I think I was probably watching cat videos like any normal person. And then through a weird series of stages, I ended up watching a video with a President Trump supporter talking about climate change. And it was sort of one of those situations where I thought, don't watch it, don't watch it, don't watch it. Anyway, I watched it. And in the video, what happened was that there was a guy standing at the front, and he was saying, people are worried about climate change. They shouldn't be worried about climate change. And the crowd cheered, yay. And he said, because it already happened in the Bible. Everybody cheered, yay. We don't need to worry about sea levels rising because it already happened in Noah's Ark. And everybody cheered. And I thought, what? I do think we should worry about it, and I'm not sure that that was the point of Noah's Ark. But basically, he went on to say that in his view, it didn't matter that that sea levels had risen and that most of the population of the world had died, because God had used that to wipe out all of the bad people. Now, obviously, I think he was missing the point of Noah's Ark and why that story's in the Bible. But I thought that was a really interesting idea, and I thought, oh, what if sea levels have risen before? And what if that's where some of the Viking stories come from as well? So I put those two elements together. So my sea monster is actually a kraken, sea levels have risen, climate change has happened, and people are now living on top of this beast, trying to escape from it. It's ended up being quite a story that I have returned to during lockdown, and I have thought about, because the other element of it is, obviously I think my family are lovely, but when you're trapped in close confines for weeks on end, you can all get on each other's nerves just a little bit. I'm sure that hasn't happened to any of you. In Jelly, that's another one of the reasons, one of the things that I was thinking about. What would it be like for all of these people trapped together? And I think I was partly influenced by working with teenagers as well, and the idea that sometimes the people that you have to sit next to in school for maybe 5 years are not necessarily your best friends, or they might be, but you can also be irritated by them. I mean, I've got a friend, Jackie, who I actually did sit next to for almost 5 years, because at that point in my secondary school, we were sitting alphabetically. And I think every single teacher thought they were the only one to have thought of this genius idea for the seating plan. And we never thought to say anything. But anyway, I ended up sitting next to Jackie for 5 years. Now, I'm actually still very good friends with Jackie, but when I was at school, because we effectively spent 6 hours a day together, we got into this sort of situation where if either of us left anything on the desk, or because we had those lifty-uppy desks, because yes, I'm that old, if either of us put our hands underneath the desk, the other one would just automatically slam the desk lid down on it. And or if we, you know, it was just a sort of game, like during maths lessons, we wouldn't do our maths because we were quite good girls, but also if one of us left our hands vulnerable, the other one would smack it or just whack it with a pencil case. And actually, I have to say that quite a few years since leaving school, we still do that. you know, if I go to her house for a barbecue, at some point during the evening, I will put my hand down, because you do put your hand on tables. I'll put my hand on the table and I won't be thinking about it. And the next thing, she'll whack a glass down on it. And it's just something that we both do because it's sort of a weird habit that formed. And you know, I don't really. It's just something that you do when you become quite good friends with somebody. You get these sort of like little in jokes that you almost couldn't possibly explain to anybody else. But that's partly what Jelly is about. It's about a group of teenagers who just know each other so well. They find each other very funny. They're also bored of each other, and they also argue. So that's what Jelly is about. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.